this interface. Last time we used 12.2 IP address on router. Okay, and even I need to enable the telnet configuration under the line VTY, because line VTY configuration is not exist. Line VTY 0 to 4, mistake, transport input telnet, and we need to configure the login password. Password is Cisco. Okay, so once we are done here, and I need to configure one enable password, because you need to configure enable password also whenever you are trying to access the device. Okay, leave it for now, I will show you why. Okay, so what we did, we configured the line VTY configuration, and where we defined the transport input protocol is telnet. So you can take device access through line VTY. Line VTY means virtual terminal. If anyone is virtually going to access the device, so they will hit on this line VTY. Okay, and under line VTY, if you remember, I told you 0 to 4 means how many device or how many clients can take remote of the router at a time. So how many clients can take remote at a time? 0 to 4 is 5, right? So 5 devices. And what is the meaning of login? Anyone? Because I informed you about login. Yeah, login means
to access
device will ask about password. Yeah,
access to the device.
Right. So login means device is asking about password, and password we configured here already, right? That is Cisco. And the last command is transport input, means on line VTY your telnet protocol is allowed to take the remote of router, right? So I think these three commands are clear to everyone. If you want to ask, please ask about any of the command if that is not clear. Password is required to log in the router, because if any command you will see like a login under your line VTY, that means device must ask about a password. So whenever R1 is going to take telnet, so it will say telnet 12.1.1.2. so at that time R1 initiate your TCP connection 3-way handshake, and after that telnet data. So whenever you are try to hit R2 for this IP address for telnet, so R2 will say okay, login means you have to put password here, so it will ask about password, right? So if you have not configured password on this device first, so you will not eligible to enter any password. Why? Because you need to define this command. Login means this command must be here. Okay, so if password is configured under line VTY, then you can put password, right? And this command means telnet is allowed. If there is nothing telnet or like, so still if you try to hit to take telnet, you will not eligible to take telnet. Why? Because telnet protocol is not allowed. So normally by default is transport input none. You will see this command. None means neither telnet or nor SSH, right? So any one of protocol is not allowed here. So you have to allow this protocol separately, or you can allow both of them at a one time. So that is your wish. Okay, so now let's come with the configuration part. So we did, but if you remember, I have not configured any password here in my I mean enable password. If you check show run, so under show run you have host and like the default configuration whatever exists on the device, but enable password is not exist in this configuration. Okay, but whenever you try to access the device, you will face a challenge. And what is the challenge? We will see. So now I'm connecting with R1. So on R1 also I guess IP is configured this time. And I will do one more thing. Last time our capturing was not working, so I am going to right click on the router, and here in capture section I will capture it 0 by 0. Why? Because R1 0 by 0 interface is connected with R2. So right click here, capture the exact interface where you want to capture the data. Just a minute. Okay, the capturing is working. So just you can see the normal packets are start receiving, and now I will initiate the connection. Move to R1, show IP, interface brief. So we can see 12.1 is configured, and try to ping first of all for reachability. Yeah, it's reachable. Okay, and now I can start with telnet 12.1.2. So you can see I configure telnet command on R1. So that means R1 is trying to take telnet connection of R2. Session is open. Okay, session is opened, and now you are eligible to put your password. So this password is whatever you configured under the line VTY, that is Cisco. So password will be not visible here, whatever you are going to be type, or there will be nothing like star star star, because star 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 also give you idea like how many digits exist in your password. So that is also not good for security reason. Now you are under R2. So if you want to configure anything, you have to move in enable mode, in privilege mode, but you can see there is no password set. What is the meaning of that? Anyone have idea about it? I tried to access through enable command on R2 privilege mode, but privilege mode is giving me error, no password set. Okay,
Means like sir, in different mode we can apply password over that also.
uh, okay, let me tell you. See,
Means a remote user is able to only see the show command, or is it able to configure the router or not?
mm-hmm. Okay, what is
For
the
that
meaning of
also.
this? Uh, okay, let me tell you. Maybe right now you will not get that exactly what I'm saying, but maybe give me some time. After a few minutes, you will get my point. Okay, not right now. Maybe everyone is not about aware with this thing. So there is one thing that is known as privilege level, right? So anyone have idea about privilege level? So privilege level is from 0 to 15. So I should not tell you right now, but to understand this thing, so that means if you have privilege 15, that means you have full access of device. Are you getting my point? If I say you have privilege 15, that means you are eligible to access any command on router. You can configure anything, you can delete any configuration, right? So that means privilege 15 means full access of the device. So whenever you try to hit enable command, that means directly you are asking about privilege 15. If you configure just this command and after that you are not going to put anything, so automatically this is going to tell you okay, you are asking about privilege level 15. So that means if you want to access the device and you want to access full configuration of the device, there should be some password that must be asked after this command. Because how would you make sure the authorized person is trying to access the device, right? But there are more features we can use that to make sure authorized person is only eligible to access these commands, not the unauthorized person. Or maybe like you have multiple engineers, like if you know, we have L1 engineer, L2 engineer and L3. So normally L3 engineer have full access of the device. L1 have only just tshoot commands, right, to troubleshoot the configuration. L2 have medium level of the commands, like some troubleshooting command, some configuration command, right? So that's why Cisco makes sure if you are going for enable, that means you are asking about privilege level 15. So if I don't put here 15, doesn't mean, still this is the same thing. So that's why you need to use here password. So whenever we are going to configure telnet, we need to configure enable password or enable secret password. Okay, that is your privilege 15 password. If you check show privilege, currently privilege is 1, and using enable command you are asking for privilege 15. Are you getting my point? That means you are on a lower level. Okay, and after this enable command you are asking about a higher level. So how router will make sure that thing. So that's why we are moving on R2, and if I'm going to put here, see, enable password. Right now we can type the password, and even you can define the level. So right now if I'm giving level, so this is giving me idea for level. But if I don't give level here, just normal password, so this password is also eligible for level 15. I vary my point. The hash means this is just a description. Okay, this is not a command. Okay, because I put here hash, that means this is indicating this is not a command. If I try directly like this 15, it will give me error. Why? Because router will say, oh, understand this is command, but this command is not available on the device or on device operating system. So just hash is to say something or to indicate something. I use that command. Okay, but the main command is enable password, which is Cisco. So right now if I'm trying here enable, the password is required here, and you put Cisco, and you are eligible to access the R2 right now, right? That means you have full access. If you say show privilege, and you will see you have level 15, that means you have full access of the device. Is that clear to everyone? Amit,
Yes.
Arun,
Yes.
Kenil? Okay, great.
Yes.
So guys, if you have any doubt, Siva, please you can ask. Okay, so just we discussed about that, like that how you configure the Telnet. Last time also we discussed, but this is something new. So in today lecture we will discuss in detail about privilege level, the concept of privilege level. Okay, but in detail, don't worry about that. So the my point was about Telnet. The traffic is not secure whenever you are going to configure any command. Like I configured this command, right? I want to configure other interface. I configure the interface, and just assume this is the command, right? So I try to push some configuration. Okay, so is this configuration visible in my packets, in Telnet packets? Yeah, this must be visible, because R1 sending all these commands via remote to R2, and at that time R2 is giving you this space, right, on R1 router. If I exit, see, I am on R1, but I was on R2 remotely, and I did this configuration remotely. And for this configuration I make here no shutdown the interface, and you can see the interface is no shutdown on R2, because logs are visible on normal device, because on remote logs are not visible. Remote device logs are disabled by default. That's why we don't have any log, like interface is not shut down, line protocol is up. Okay, because on console you have logs, not on the remote console. So you can enable that if you want. Okay, but we will see at the time of syslog these things. Now you can check R2 have configuration. Okay, the interface is not connected, that's why visible as down. But let's check the packets here. So this is the real thing we want to explore here. So these are the Telnet packets. So R2 sending to R1. Let's open it. Wait a minute, where I can get the actual data. This data is in the byte. Seriously? Expand all. Okay. Wait a minute. Maybe I'm not using the right way to see the Telnet data. Collapse, expand, copy. There was something to see the data, visible all items. Wait. Just give me a minute. Yeah, see, I think is this visible to everyone, guys? So this is under that. If you click on any packet, okay, so there is flow. Under flow you have TCP stream, so you have to see that. Now let me zoom in. Now you can see we try to enter the device and we put the password Cisco, right? After that R2 is available, we put the commands. Okay, and after we tried, there was no password, and we enabled, we see the privilege level. So you can see every command is visible which we tried on R1 on R2 remote session, right? So show commands are visible, right? Show privilege command was visible, and after that we enabled the password was not there, and then we configured the password Cisco. So privilege level password is also visible here, right? And after that we tried some privilege level command again 15, and after that we configured the interface is 0 by 1, right? And we now shut down the interface, right? This command is visible here, and we tried IP address, okay? And yeah, so every command is visible here whatever we did there. So that's why telnet traffic is not secure. Is that clear to everyone? If I'm giving here directly this command crypto k generate RSA, so you can see please define a domain name first. So that means domain name is required, then you can configure IP domain name. Okay, domain name is cisco.com. Okay, and hostname is already configured, so I'm using the same command. Now you can see the name of the keys will be hostname and the domain name. So the key name is here hostname and domain name, that's why we define domain name here. Okay, but you can configure manually. If you don't want to give domain name, I will also tell you the same command. The command is same, we have to just add few more words with it, right? Okay, and after that choose the size of the key modules in the range of from this to this for your general purpose keys. Okay, choosing the key module greater than this may mm, like we can define the key module, and accordingly device will give the version. So suppose I am giving here lower version, right, like this one. So you can see generate 760 bits RSA keys, okay, and this is giving you version 1.5, which is version 1, which is version 1 of SSH, right? 1.9 is version 1.5, so which we discussed here according to Cisco. If you scroll, see, so this is version 1, right? Version 1.5 and version 2. Now device is configured with this command, right? And if you check show crypto key, wait a minute, my pub key RSA, yeah, so you can see the keys are visible here, right? So this is our key name, and this is key that is generated by device. Okay, so the keys are generated, and now I can go for third command, which is username and password, right? Username admin, I can directly configure password, but I need to define enable command as well. Okay, Cisco enable password is also Cisco, right? Under line VTY I need to define transport protocol, transport input SSH, and login local. So we configured all the commands, and if you want to check show run, so we configured the host name. Okay, enable command is visible here, and domain name is configured on device. Okay, username password also visible, and after that we configured the SSH. So SSH configuration under line VTY. Okay, crypto command is not visible here because that is for key generation, we did that. And now if I try to take SSH connection from R1, what I can do, SSH. Okay, so here I have multiple options at the time of SSH. I can use -L for the username, I can use -V to specify the version. So right now if I'm going to specify my version, like this is my version and version 2, right? -L, after that my username is admin, and IP address. So you see the connection is aborted. What is the reason the connection is aborted? Debug, wait a minute, IP SSH client. Yeah, let me try again. See what we are getting here, we are getting SSH version mismatch. So according to that, whenever we are trying SSH version 2 to access the device 12.2, so where we have right now SSH version 1, so version is not compatible, you can't use that, right? So version ID is 1.5, okay, Cisco is 1.25, whatever it is. So that means we have failure in protocol version mismatch, okay. So if we try to use version 1 instead of 2, we can see, we can easily access the device and see the protocol version exchange is successfully, right? Okay, the SSH public key message received, okay, and key message sent, and keys are exchanged successfully, because in version 1 they exchange the key, because Diffie-Hellman is not there, right, in version 1. So right now we can put the password and we have access of the device, right? Is that clear, guys? So we have access the device, and show user, you can check, wait a minute, show users. Yeah, this is the command. So you can see in line VTY number is 2, user is admin, and user IP address is 12.1. So R1 IP is 12.1, and R1 using username admin to access the device R2. The connection is established successfully. The connection is established, guys, successfully. Is that clear to everyone? Okay. So now if I try to configure, let me exit the session first. Okay. So we drop the session, and now what I'm trying to configure the crypto key again. So already key is defined, so key name is this, so still you want to replace them? Yeah, I want to replace them. So now I can configure another key. So your old version is disabled, so you are eligible to configure a new version. So if I want to configure here 1024 for an example, so what version I will get here in this case? Version 1.9. So version 1.9 is enabled, right? Okay, so this is version 1.5. So if I try to access this version from my client, like if I am trying version 2, still I am getting access, right? Right, because if you remember, I told you this is version 1.5, and 1.5 is compatible with version 1 and 2, with both versions. So I tried with version 2 and we are eligible to access it, right? Okay, if I try to exit it, and let me try with version 1, it must be accepted. Yeah, we can see with version 1 also we are getting the prompt to access the device. Let me do one thing. Okay, undebug all, because we are getting the notifications. So this is version 1 command, we tried and we are getting the access of R2. Okay, and other command was for version 2, this one. So we are also getting here access. So in both case, if server have version 1.5, we can access from version 1 or version 2. I think this is clear to everyone. Is there any doubt, guys?
So, so version 1 is not using Diffie-Hellman,
Yeah,
and sir, version 1.5 is using Diffie-Hellman. So, sir, means how they are means compatible. No, the data
because
will be
my
shown in the same
server
format.
is using version 1.5, not version 2 or not version 1. So client, we are trying from client version 1 and version 2. So 1.5 is compatible for both. That is the reason. But if you are directly using version 2 or version 1, then both are not compatible. Okay, that is the reason. Because on server I am not using version 2, I am using version
One
1.5.
nine nine.
Yeah, 1.5. Just a minute.
means that if server have SSH version 1 and client have version 1.5, then can client access the server?
Actually, client is not giving option for 1.5. Only server is giving you. If you check, we have only two versions here. Okay, so like you can use directly key exchange in version 1 with server in version 1 or 1.5, but if you are using version 2, then they will start using diffie hellman from client end. So this version 1.5 is compatible for both. You can exchange key directly or you can use diffie hellman, so this is open for both at that time, right? But if I will restrict it like IP SSH version 2 command, so it will start using only diffie element at that time. That means we defined version 2 on router, and if I try the command this time, it will abort my session. Okay.
In real world, are we still using SSH1, sir?
I don't think so, because SSH version 1 have multiple challenges like security issues.
Okay.
Anyone can break the key. So Diffie-Hellman is
Oh,
using in IPsec. So IPsec is also using Diffie-Hellman. That means the key exchange method is very difficult, or you can say in a way anyone cannot find your public and private key. Crypto key. What is the meaning of this command? So this command is used to remove your current key, whatever is calculated last time. So you can use this command to remove the keys. Okay, so if I use that, okay, show crypto key my pub key RSA. So you can see there is no key, right? So now I can try one command. Okay, I will show you something. Crypto key generate RSA. So if I am using 761, so which version it will enable on the device? Any idea?
version 2,
Okay,
6160.
wait a minute, I explained what version we are getting. What is the version? Okay, my command is already configured by mistake. Let me remove it first. Okay, crypto key generate. Yes, I want to replace it. 761. Okay, so I disabled the version 2 with the command. Okay, and then I configure the command again and we replace the keys. Okay, and I defined my key 761 because of some octets, because maybe bits are part of the same octet. That's why whenever I try to configure this value, still I am getting version 1.5, or you can say according to Cisco 199. Okay, so let's call it 1.5, let's not be confused. But if I try the same command again, and this time I'm using here 760, so at that time you will get 1.5 or version 1. See, okay, so if you use 760 bits, then you will get version 1, otherwise you will see version 1.5. So guys, any doubt in SSH versions, how to enable it, how to configure it? Okay, there is one more command that, let me explain you. Crypto key generate RSA label. So we have here label, key pair label like my key. Okay, I can use my key, I can generate my own key with my name. So label means you want to define your name, you no need host name, you no need domain name, so it will choose accordingly. Okay, And this command, I guess you have to define in SSH as well, like which key you want to use, which key you want to use. IP SSH. Wait a minute, I need to check the command. Next, pub keychain, I guess this command. Wait a minute. Version server RSA key pair name. Okay, so here you can define the key pair name, which key you want to use for SSH. So that how you can define your key. Okay, so it will not use the last key, it will use this key. And if you try, we enabled this version on R1. Okay, I can try with this one. Yeah, we can use, because version is 1.5 on server side. If client use version 1, still this is compatible. Okay guys, so I think SSH is clear to everyone. If you have doubt here, please let me know.
So, but
Where we will get the document?
Okay, yeah, like after that there is nothing to discuss in SSH. Okay, so we can move with the next topic. So here we just discuss about Telnet and SSH. And if you want to see the captures, wait a minute, I think I have to recapture for SSH. Sorry, are you asking something, Kennel?
Where we will get the document?
Sorry, I'm not getting your point. Could you repeat?
The document. Where we will get them? The document.
Oh, you are asking
The
about the
video.
notes.
notes and
Yes.
books are
Okay, notes and books. Okay, I will talk to the management team, and we will share with you. We will see how we can share. Okay, the books and the notes. HTTP and HTTP features. Okay, on our router, and we have already username and password, so I no need to define username and password. But again, I'm telling you, this username and password will be not acceptable. Why? To define the or to access the device through HTTP or HTTP access, device must have full privilege for this username and password. Full privilege means complete access. So I need to define again. Okay, so whenever I'm going to access my device, so it must have full privilege. Only at that time we will get HTTP. Okay, so I defined here privilege level 15, which means it have complete access of the router. Okay, and again other devices router, so I will configure it later. Okay, and what I need to do, I need to enable IP HTTP server. Okay, IP HTTP authentication local. So these two commands I have to define, and the privilege level also with username and password. So after that my HTTP is enabled. Show HTTP status. Wait a minute. IP HTTP. Server status. Okay. So we can see HTTP server status is enabled. By default this is disabled on a router, so we have enabled it through this through above command. Okay, and we have given local authentication, means local username password can access the device through HTTP. But to take the GUI of the device, I need to access this router with my laptop directly, because other router can't take GUI, right? Or I have to use some Windows device inside it. So what I can do, I can configure another interface, and I can connect it with my management adapter. So this management cloud, that is connected with my this network, which is part of my virtual adapter. And here I have multiple virtual adapters, so I am using these two. So I have to check which network I am using. So whenever you will install the VMware, so it have 214, not this one. maybe this is adapter 5. Yeah, it's 130, right? So I'm using 130 subnet. So I need to use this one. So management is this adapter for me. So I have to save it, and I can connect one interface with it. Okay, Ethernet 0 by 1, and I will configure directly, or my VMware is acting like DHCP server who will give IP to my router. So I can get IP through DHCP also on R2. So show IP interface brief. IP is configured different. So what I'm going to do, Ethernet 0 by 1, no IP address, IP DHCP client, right? Wait a minute, IP address DHCP, my mistake. Okay, so let's see. Wait, it will get IP address. Okay, see, the device is getting IP address 130.128, because the VMware, this tool is acting like me DHCP server, because in the setting of this, DHCP server is enabled, which is giving IP to my virtual machine. Okay, and also to my router, because I'm connected with the same virtual network. So the management network belongs to this one, so I'm getting the same network IP address. Okay, so this IP address is visible here, and you can see the log message is giving the IP address. Okay, and now let me try to ping R2 from my laptop. So ping 192.168, 130.128, and I'm able to ping it, right? So that means I can take remote of the router. So what I have to do, HTTP 192.130.128. So see, the device is asking about username and password, which is admin and Cisco. So whenever I configure the device, so I will get this type of GUI access. I think, wait. Okay, this is visible to everyone, right? Okay, so you can see we have diagnose logs, monitor router. Wait a minute, here must be some where we can configure the commands. Execute ping command. Okay. Monitor the router. Okay, let's try. So we have here home exact. So exact means in privilege mode what you can do, right? If I'm trying to ping 12.1.1, so we can see in the output I'm able to see we are able to ping 12.1, right? And command is completed successfully. Show IP route. If I want to check the routing table, so I have to put here commands like CLI. So basically if you try to access the GUI of the router, still you are getting the CLI, right? So that's why I told you, you can take the GUI of the router, you have option, but doesn't mean still it's like CLI. Okay, and if you want to configure anything, you can go into the configuration, and in configuration, if you remember, we can configure the IP access list, right? IP access list 1. Okay, wait a minute, I need to define standard also. IP access list standard. So you can see we moved inside the ACL. So this command is configured successfully, and now we have option to configure here permit and deny. So if I want to permit something like permit host 12.1.1, okay, so the command is configured successfully, and now I want to deny everything, deny any and log. So we configured, right? So configuration is done here. Now in execution I can reach and I can check show IP access list. So you can see the configuration is done here. So that how you can configure on graphical user interface. I think this is easy, but like commands are same, right? The graphical user interface are just same as your CLI. Okay guys, any doubt till now? So this is your HTTP protocol, so you can use HTTPS also. Like, let me tell you how to configure IP, HTTP, secure server. So this is the command. Okay, it will also generate some keys or some certificates, because some digital certificates are also used, and we can use now HTTP server, no IP, HTTP server. Okay, just a minute. Till now we discussed about HTTP, and now we configured HTTPS. Okay, this is the command. Fail to generate self certificate server is temporary. Okay, show HTTP, show IP, HTTP. Okay, it will not show the secure server, I guess. Okay, the HTTP is disabled, HTTPS is enabled, if you check, right? So in the same command you will see both. And now if I try to access it, wait, crypto key RSA. Okay, just a minute. It have generated the key, but maybe I have some certificate issue or router is not giving. Actually we need certificate for device as well, because of mismatch, otherwise it will use. Okay, so but there is uh, you can say no logic behind it if we are using HTTP or HTTPS for GUI of the device, right? Because normally we need GUI for those devices are basically configured through GUI. If we talk about we can use Cisco next generation firewall, we can use Cisco next generation IPS, or we can use like Cisco ICE and other devices. So those are used for GUI, right?